Hey everyone, Lotus Prince here. Been a while since I've been on camera, hasn't it? Well, the reason is because I've been going through footage for the latest LP and making sure it's all good. And good news, it is. See, normally if my footage were to be corrupted, then I would go back and re-record it without too terribly much trouble. But this next LP is a co-op between me and Vice the Bold, so it's a lot more difficult to recapture footage in that case. We're recording at his place, and we live an hour apart, and we have greatly conflicting schedules. So while this upcoming LP is only 16 installments, we recorded it, like we met with each other 4 times over the course of like 2 or 3 months. It took a while. So I wanted to make sure everything was good. Now, regarding what game we're actually going to play, I know that the last 2 times I've played games with him, it's been for really silly, free-to-download PC games that happen to call back to retro games of the Sega Genesis and the NES in Shut Up and Jam Gaiden and Abobo's Big Adventures cases, respectively. That is an amusing pattern, but it's a false positive. The real pattern is that they're games that we're very passionate about. I was the one who wanted to bring Vice the Bold on to LP Shut Up and Jam Gaiden, and he was really excited about having me record with him Abobo's Big Adventure. So this third game we're doing, actually he's the one who introduced me to it, but I was really passionate about getting this one to record it just because it's such a rare opportunity, and he happens to own the game, and now I do as well. It is very easily the rarest and most expensive game I own, and it's for a system that we have not yet covered. The name of the game is Snatcher for the Sega CD. Now, there's a chance that you might not have heard of this one. Snatcher, perhaps to your great surprise, is actually a Hideo Kojima game. Yeah, the guy who made the Metal Gear and Metal Gear Solid series, as well as Zone of the Enders. Turns out, he's also done a visual novel game. Yes, this is a visual novel, but for those of you who aren't as into visual novels, I want to make something clear. Yes, it is true that there is very little gameplay associated with visual novels. If you've seen my Corpse Party Book of Shadows Let's Play, then you know this already. What sets this visual novel apart from the rest is that it is crazy how well written it is, and there's almost always some animation going on. Now, in Corpse Party Book of Shadows, you had your anime opening, you know, the full anime opening like it was the start of a TV show or something, but after that, you would talk to people and they would be still images, and if they change expression, then their picture would fade out and fade back in with them of an angry expression or something. No, in this, when you talk to people, even if it's just text on the screen, you'll see them blinking and things like that, and there might be little things going on in the background, like a ceiling fan spinning or something. And there are many, many scenes where they talk to you with voice acting, and there's full lip motion and everything like that. There's actually a lot to watch in this Let's Play. Now, the reason I want to bring this up is because I know some people are turned off by visual novels, but I'll admit I haven't played so many of them, but this is very easily my favorite. This is so well written, and again, it's a Kojima game, so there's all sorts of intrigue to be had. Now, Metal Gear Solid is its own animal. This game is something of a noir story. Let me show you once more. Take a look at the cover here. This is... we dropped a hint about this after... I want to say... No, we're going to drop a hint of this in the opening video for this Let's Play, but take a look at the cover here. You got the, point of the gun of the camera and everything like that. The guy's wearing the trench coat. He looks a lot like Harrison Ford from Blade Runner. And the reason for that is because it's pretty much Blade Runner the game. It's Blade Runner the video game. And for the record, by the way, walking off camera, I know that there actually is a Blade Runner the video game, and it happens to be a point and click, but you know what I mean. Snatcher is very much like Blade Runner. It's kind of like it's Deckard hunting the replicants. There are a bunch of people walking around that are in fact robots, and you don't know who they are, and they're killing people and taking their identities. So you gotta stop them. And what's interesting is when you see their endoskeletons, they look kind of like Terminators. It's rather amusing in that regard. So Picture Blade Runner if Kojima were to direct it. That's a concept that I very much want to see. This game has a lot of intrigue, a lot of legitimately interesting things to look at, and a lot of interesting things to hear. Some of the stuff I'm saying right now is going to be recapped in the opening segment of our Let's Play. I just want to set you up for it now, though. There's, I've already said there's a lot of intrigue to be had. There's a lot of world building. One thing you're going to notice, this is going to play a little bit differently than Shut Up and Jam Gaiden or Abobo did, because those games, Shut Up and Jam Gaiden, you could walk around the world, and when you get into fights, there's not plot going on, so whatever, just talk while you're beating dudes up. And in Abobo, it's beating dudes up, so just have fun while you're doing it. This game, because it's a visual novel, and there's little gameplay associated with it, the gameplay is going to the next room, talking to the next person, and dialogue scenes start playing out, and you don't want to miss that. So sometimes you're going to notice that we're just going to sit on a screen and exposit, like, oh, there was a reference there that I want you to know about. Hold on. So you'll just kind of be staring at the screen, and I know your instinct is going to be to go, oh, come on, just move on with it, I don't care. But the thing is, we're trying to be informative about this. We generally don't stop progress to dig around. We're doing it to inform. So you might see us still sitting in a still image for a little while, but we're doing it for a reason. This game has a very good plot, but this game is rare and expensive, and not a lot of people get the chance to play it, so we're not just blazing through the game and trying to reach the end. That would kind of be doing you a disservice. What we're doing is we're going to try to also check every nook and cranny and look for all the extra little flavor text that we can get. Now, you might go, oh, come on, why don't you just move along with it? You're not really progressing in anything. But we're showing you things that you might not otherwise be able to see, even among some other Let's Plays, depending how the other Let's Players tackle it. So we're trying to show you all of what this game has to offer that we can, because again, it's a rare opportunity. So one thing you're going to notice, we do this more toward the beginning of the game than anything else. The first installment of the game is pretty much getting us into our HQ and getting to know people and look around the place. The second installment, there's like a data log computer that builds lore in the game. I'll tell you right now, the entire second installment is reading the information from that computer. I'll admit it right here. The entire second installment is world building. But the thing is, we find that legitimately interesting. We really do, and hopefully you will as well. There's actually a lot of really interesting things going on, and you'll see information in the data logs that the game actually will casually reference that you don't need to know, but if you've read it from the computer, you'd be like, oh, I understand what you're talking about. Little things like that is what make the game all the more flavorful. It's so tightly written, as Vice the Bolt himself will say 2 or 3 times during the Let's Play, and everything really does kind of come together very cohesively. So in looking up these data logs and everything, we're getting you to be able to pick up on those little references as well. And now, if that kind of thing does bore you, I'll tell you this as well. Installment 3, Installment 3 gets freaking crazy. From Installment 3 onward, get ready. It is out of control. Even though it's a visual novel, you'd be surprised by how much action there is. And even when there's not straight up gunfights, because you do get a little bit of time to shoot at the screen, when there aren't gunfights, cutscene or otherwise, there's a lot of really intense moments where you're trying to follow leads or catch the suspects. You'd be surprised at how interactive a visual novel can be. If you've already seen Corpse Party Book of Shadows, then you may know this already, and you can see how intense a game like that gets. But unlike Corpse Party Book of Shadows, this isn't some sort of museum of mutilation and death just to see how characters die. No, there is some violence in this game, and that violence is surprisingly intense, by the way. Just throwing that out there. But this game, again, is more of a detective story, and it's more of, again, Blade Runner, where you're playing as Deckard, trying to hunt down those terrible replicants. Only in this case, the replicants in the game are objectively evil. There's no moral question here. They're out to get you. They're the villains. They're Terminators that are also replicants. So it's a really terrible thing. You gotta stop them. So this game, I ramble. You know I do by this point. But I gotta say, this game is one of the most... yeah, announcing this game is about the most excited I've been to announce a game, just because who gets to Let's Play Snatcher? So I really hope that you find this interesting. And if you're a Metal Gear Solid fan, then here's another Kojima game that you might not have been aware of and possibly might not have been able to play. It's an obscure game for an obscure system. So here's your chance to get filled in on that lore. I very much look forward to uploading this. I want to say I'll do it in maybe 5 to 7 days from now. And when I do, you better get ready, because this is going to be out of freaking control. It has comedic moments in it, like Kojima games do, but it's overall a very serious product. So Vice and I spend a little bit less time joking, although believe me, there's time for that, and more time oohing and eyeing, and in being able to provide information that this game has to offer. Because believe me, some of this stuff you're going to need footnotes on. That's what Installment 2 is for. So get hyped, look forward to this. I know I do. Until next time, everyone.